Hi, thank you so much for watching this video today. So today I wanted to talk about slowing down and learning how to enjoy each moment. Now, this is something that I have been doing over the last probably 5 to 10 years. So today I wanted to talk about learning the beauty of slow living. And especially in our fast-paced world, it can be difficult to learn to really slow down and take a moment to appreciate the little things. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. Because for me, this is something that has really helped my outlook on life. The first tip that I have is learning how to breathe. I learned about this recently because I started seeing a pelvic floor physiotherapist for my endometriosis. And I've only seen her once. What she told me was that basically I breathe as if I'm being chased by a lion. And she also said that a lot of people in society don't know how to breathe correctly. Now, I'm not a trained professional in this area, but I would encourage you to really learn more about how to breathe correctly, how to slow down, and also how to practice breathing. This is something that I've done over the last month. And for me, the results have been incredible. I didn't expect any results so soon, and so it's definitely not a placebo. But for me, I have found that I feel more relaxed and I've experienced other benefits as well. So my first slow living tip is really to focus on your breathing. Are you breathing as if you're running away from a lion? Or are you breathing in a way that shows that your body and your soul and your mind are calm and that you feel at peace? Because I know for myself, I definitely wasn't. So that's my first tip. My second tip is to start your day with God. I've spoken about this before in my gratitude videos, and it really can't be underestimated the benefit that this has. I started this practice probably about 10 years ago. And what I do is that each morning I walk over to the window and I look outside and I give thanks to God for the new day, for the new morning, and for the blessing of being alive. Now, it really helps to slow me down. And it doesn't matter what I have planned for the day. It really is a beautiful way to begin each morning with recognizing the beauty of the day before you. And I really hope that if you incorporate this practice into your day, that you will find that your days start with beauty and gratitude and more joy. My third tip is to see the world with childlike wonder. Now, something that many of us notice about small children is the way that they look at the world. And this was brought home to me recently when a friend visited. Now, she brought her 2.5-year-old, who's absolutely gorgeous, really beautiful child. And when they arrived at our home, they were walking along our front deck, and this little girl saw flowers in our front garden, and she ran to them. And it was absolutely gorgeous. And her mum was close behind her. And my friend's daughter exclaimed to her mum, "Mum, there's flowers, there's flowers." And she was so excited. And I just saw the beauty and the wonder in her innocence and how excited she was. Her wonder at the her excitement at the flowers in our front garden was just so beautiful. And this is something that I have incorporated into my own life. I started doing this again probably 10 years ago. And that was the time that I started reading through the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And it really transformed my outlook on life. And so whenever I can, I look at the wonder of the world around me. It is just so beautiful. Like at the moment, there's a beautiful sunset and there's been a cool breeze. It's actually quite cold outside. Cold for me here in Australia. I know in a lot of places this would be considered warm, but for me it's quite cold. But anyway, I've really learned to see the beauty of all that's around me, whether that's in my backyard, going for a bushwalk, whether it's just being out and about running errands. There's always something beautiful around us to look at and to appreciate. And it really helps to bring back that intentional, beautiful living that children do. Our lives get filled with so many different responsibilities as we get older, and often we find that we, feel as if we don't have time to stop and look at the little things and appreciate the beauty that's around us. But I really want to encourage you to take a moment to pause, to breathe, and see all the beauty in this life. Now, no matter what we're going through, there is still beauty to see. And you'll be surprised just how much that can transform your day. My fourth tip is to grow your own produce. I've lived on this property for 14 years, and we actually planted fruit trees as soon as the land settled. So we hadn't even started building the house yet, but we really wanted to set down roots and plant fruit trees to be able to get the benefit of the fruit as soon as possible. And all these years later, we are just so blessed. We pick so many oranges and mandarins and grapefruit and passion fruit and grapes and figs and all kinds of beautiful fruit. We recently picked bananas. I'll show some footage of the huge bunch of bananas that we grew recently. And we actually picked 2 bunches, and we have a third that's on our plants at the moment. I'm usually intolerant to bananas, but I can eat the ones that we grow on our property, which I'm so grateful for because they're amazing. And growing your own fruit and vegetables really helps to slow you down and look at life differently. You get to spend time outdoors, and I've fallen in love with weeding. I never imagined that would happen, but I really do enjoy it. And I use it as a time to be at peace, to calm my mind, to pray, to consider all that God has given me in my life. And I also really love discovering all the beautiful creatures that are in the soil and getting my hands dirty and watching as the plants grow, and then getting to eat beautiful, fresh, organic produce. We don't spray anything here. And that's the other benefit of growing your own produce, is that it's healthier. It has 0 food miles because it's literally coming from your own property. And I know that we live on an acre here, and that's not possible for everyone. And that's okay. Because if you have a balcony or a windowsill or something like that, you can get a pot and grow some chives or some herbs and start really small. But caring for those plants and slowing down and spending time watering and looking after what you're growing is a really beautiful way to incorporate more slow living practices into your life. Now, when I speak of slow living practices, I understand that life gets busy and it may seem overwhelming to be able to incorporate all of these into your life, and it might just not be practical for you. But I encourage you to incorporate 1 or 2 of them, and you'll see the difference that it makes in your day. My 5th tip is to create tech-free moments. Now, this is something that I'm trying to incorporate more of in my life. And I know that I'm wearing a smartwatch. I've had a Garmin for probably 5 or 6 years. But what I actually have done is that I've turned off the syncing, so it's not connected to my phone, which means that I don't have the notifications coming through, and it can still track my sleep and other things that I'm wanting to track throughout the day. But I don't have those constant notifications, which can be so distracting and for me quite annoying. I don't like receiving notifications constantly. I have most notifications turned off on my phone as well. So if you feel as if you're constantly getting bombarded with text messages and email notifications and things like that, I encourage you to turn your notifications off, whether it's on your phone or on your smartwatch if you wear one, and it really gives you space to think. And the other thing that I've found is that if you're working on a project or you're reading or you're doing something else that you love, to not constantly have those notifications trying to steal away your attention, it's really a wonderful thing, and it helps to keep you focused a lot more than having these constant notifications all the time, which we're so used to. But for me, I just find that turning everything off is so much better. So I definitely recommend that. The other thing that I'm trying to do, now I'm not perfect at this, but I'm certainly trying to reduce the amount of technology that I use in the evenings by creating meaningful and beautiful evening routines. Now, I know that that may not be easy for everybody. I totally understand that people have kids, or they might be on shift work, or there's all kinds of different reasons why you might be up late in the evening and not able to separate yourself. So I really try to reduce the amount of technology that I use in the evenings. What I've been doing recently is using that time instead to write down my gratitude journal, which I'll talk about in another tip. And the other thing that I do is I love to read the scriptures in the evening. And so having that quiet time before bed where I'm not distracted by technology, I'm not getting that blue light interference before bed that can disrupt your sleeping patterns. I really try to avoid that in the evenings. I also find that if I use less technology in the evenings, that has been really beneficial for me. Now, I'm definitely not perfect at that, and it's still a work in progress, but I do find that having an intentional evening routine and slowing down before bed has improved my sleep so much. The other things that I do is I rub magnesium oil on my feet. I often use essential oils, and I just kind of create a really peaceful and calm environment before bed. My next tip is practicing gratitude daily. And the reason that I've included that here in this slow living video is that because life can be so rushed and we feel like we have so much on our plate, we can forget all that we have to be grateful for in life. And I really want to encourage you to focus on the blessings that you have in life. Now, that might look like so many things to you. For me, I have recently been writing in a gratitude journal, and I have found that process so beautiful. I have a really cheap notebook. I think it costs like $3 or $4 or something, and it has little prompts in it. Now, if you don't have that, you don't need to go out and buy something special for it. But even writing down some little prompts for yourself can really help you to slow down, be intentional, and journal about all the beautiful things that you have to be grateful for in your life. Now, my journal page has a little quote section, and there I usually write down a Bible verse, something that has really spoken to me that day. And then I will write down the 3 things that I'm grateful for. There's so many more than 3, but I'll write down the 3 things. I've actually often wanted to write down, I love having a hot bath every evening. And I've already written that in my gratitude journal, so I don't need to write it again. But I could so easily write it because I'm so thankful to have hot water and the opportunity to have a hot bath in the evenings. It's so calming. That's another slow living tip. Definitely, if you have a bath and you love having a bath, give yourself some space and enjoy a bath. It's so healing and beautiful, and the magnesium salts and all the things. Anyway, I could totally talk about that for a long time, but I won't. But anyway, then I have a little space that talks about, what are my plans for tomorrow? So it will be, what are my focus points? And I'll write those down. Then I have a little space for happy moments. So it prompts me to write down, what are some beautiful moments I experienced today? The other day, one of the beautiful moments that I wrote down was actually that we had a flock of cockatoos fly over our property. And there must have been 1,000 of them. Like, honestly, it was incredible. They were squawking because that's what cockatoos do, but it was just incredible. It was actually about this time of evening, and it was so beautiful. And then my journal, the last thing that it says is, what is my focus for tomorrow? And what that has done for me is it really helps me to focus on today and what I'm grateful for today. But then what am I going to do tomorrow? What ideas do I have for my day tomorrow? And, like in anything, every day looks different. Yet I can go back over my journal and really take in the gifts that God has given me in my life and truly appreciate them. My next tip takes a little bit more planning, and that is to declutter with purpose. So prior to having surgery, I spent quite a lot of time organizing our home and decluttering. And I really found that doing that gave me more space for starters, it also helped me to recognize all that I have. I have a bit of a shopaholic kind of personality, and I'm definitely trying to tone that down a bit. But decluttering and looking at what I have, being thankful to the Lord for all that He's given me, and really looking and creating space has been amazing. And I think it's difficult to really pause and slow down and have a peaceful evening or a peaceful morning if you're surrounded with clutter. That's what I've found. And certainly looking at each part of my home and organizing it and creating a beautiful space has been really therapeutic. And there's been so many benefits in decluttering my home. I've now spent the last week or two with my mother-in-law organising and decluttering our spare room to make it really welcoming for our guests. And that's another benefit that I've noticed. You know, when you slow down and spend time looking at what you have, what do you really want to keep, what can you donate, those sorts of things, you know, what can you give away that will go to good use in somebody else's home? And then it allows you to bring something new in. What I'm trying to do is that if I'm going to bring something new into my home, I really want to make sure I'm taking something out and not just piling everything up, because it can just get way too much. I've definitely experienced that. Now, going on from that, when I bring something new into my home, my next tip is actually buying secondhand. I have loved op shopping. Now, in other parts of the world, that's called thrifting, but here we typically call it op shopping. I've loved that for so many years. And so whenever I bring something new into our home, it's usually secondhand. The phone that I'm actually filming this video on is also secondhand. My jumper's secondhand. When I go out, my handbag's secondhand, my shoes are secondhand. And I either purchase those from the local op shop, or more recently I've been purchasing on Facebook Marketplace or eBay. I love buying secondhand. You know, I love really beautiful quality items, but I'm not a huge fan of paying full price, and I never have been, but that's okay. Everybody's different. But anyway, what I've found is that I've been able to purchase items that are in pretty much brand new condition for a fraction of their retail price. And so any time that I can utilize something that has already been created and give it a new lease of life, that's what I choose to do. And I've done that for a long time. And that practice, you have to be intentional to do secondhand shopping. That there are some really amazing stores online you can use and find quality items that you will love and that you will care for, but that don't play into that whole huge clothing and handbag and shoe cycle that we have somehow found ourselves in. I want to encourage you that if you haven't tried secondhand shopping, to give it a go, because it's really beautiful. And honestly, I think the items that I have in my closet now are far more beautiful than what I would have bought had I bought predominantly brand new, because I have been able to purchase items that were once sometimes hundreds of dollars, $50, $40, $30 or less. I just want to encourage you to give it a go. But often it can feel overwhelming if we're going to try to incorporate so many new practices into our week. But I want to encourage you to choose one or two of them and to see the benefits that you experience in your own life. It's starting to get pretty cold. I think it's going to be about 4 degrees Celsius one morning this week. It's only just the start of winter here. 4 degrees is pretty chilly for me. I'm a big sooks in Queensland, but that's okay. I used to live in Melbourne and that was freezing. So I'm very grateful to be living in warm, sunny Queensland, even when it's a bit cold at the moment and I'm chilly and my water has gotten cold. Woo. So my last tip is to actually, at the end of my day, I thank the Lord for all that He's given me and all that He will give me tomorrow. And I think learning to be intentional, I say that word a lot, but truly, learning to slow down, to breathe life more and not just simply allow it to rush by me like I used to, has been such a blessing. I still have chronic pain My circumstances haven't changed. I still have endometriosis. I continue to live with infertility, but I do so believe in miracles, and I know that in the Lord God's timing, if it is His will, He will grant us the blessing of children. But I also believe that I'm a steward of the life that He's given me, and it's my responsibility to make the very most of the life that I've been given. And I want to encourage you that each day is truly precious. It is such a gift. And if you feel rushed or that life is passing you by, spend some time contemplating, spend some time changing some of your daily and weekly practices to be more aligned with God and recognizing the joy in slowing down. Because I used to allow each day to just roll into the next and not see the gift of every single day that I've been given. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. It has been an absolute joy creating this video for you. Thank you so much. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you would subscribe down below. Let me know if you're going to start incorporating any of these tips. Thank you so much for watching. I would love if you could like this video, share it with those that you believe would benefit from hearing about slow living from a Christian perspective. And God bless. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I'm going to go inside and get warm. And I'm so grateful that I have a heater. Oh, so grateful, honestly. God has blessed us so much. Yeah, and I spent a long time not realizing it. But I do now, and that's such a blessing. So thank you so much. God bless you.